Now, as a global industry, we're also glad to see that there's like a regional shift where we're shifting back to normal. So in 2019, we saw that North America, EMEA, APAC have about a third, give or take a couple of percentage points here and there, but it was evenly split. As we were seeing the recovery in 2022, we saw that shift heavily towards North America and EMEA as those regions opened up before the Asian countries. And from 2023 onwards, we're seeing Asia gain some share back. By 2025, we'll see Asia go back almost to 2019 levels, and we'll see a slight shift with Europe declining a little bit. And yet, we still see some challenges. Inflation is abating, but we're seeing a small impact from geopolitical issues and the wars. And we've been talking about staff shortages the last couple of years. Well, jobs in the tourism industry are coming back, and we're talking less about those staffing shortages. But staffing also means diversity. Women are a huge proportion of the industry, and according to WTTC's latest figures, in 2021, the industry employed directly about 40 million women, which is great, but it's still lower than where we were in absolute terms in 2019. So we have some way to go there. And we can't talk about travel and not talk about sustainability. 2023 was the warmest year on record. Annual average temperatures came close to that 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold set in the Paris Agreement. And for travel and tourism, the Glasgow Declaration was very clear about the scenarios for climate change action. We either have to decouple tourism from emissions, net zero, or we have to accept that we have to curb the global tourism industry. The second scenario is unlikely. So there's only one option, really. The industry has to take action. And more so because we're not seeing travelers take action to the same extent. Individual consumers don't perceive it to be their job to take part in every sustainability initiative. Travelers are less willing to take personal responsibility when they're traveling, and they're more likely to make small changes. So we see only 3 to 8% bought carbon offsets for their last trip. We see that sustainability is not among the top 5 considerations when they're making hotel choices. And we see the confusion about certifications because there's no real standard. So they don't drive decisions. And then the last part, technology. I don't think we can avoid talking about generative AI anymore. We have seen so many companies embrace generative AI, especially the larger ones with deep pockets in travel who are experimenting with it. We're seeing new startups come into the picture as well. And consumers have embraced Gen AI as well. More than 70% say they've heard of it, they're aware of generative AI. Usage is still limited, of course, because there aren't that many functional tools. But that awareness is translating into comfort. Anywhere from a third to half of all consumers in the 7 countries that we surveyed said they're comfortable using Gen AI to plan a trip. And there are so many use cases in travel, from travel planning and itineraries to customer support, recruitment, training, marketing content, chatbots with conversational capabilities that make it really easy for consumers to decide. It's difficult to keep track of everything that's happening around us because things are changing so fast. What's really clear is that Gen AI has democratized AI, as we've moved away from machine learning and all the esoteric terms there. What's coming up next are autonomous agents. Software that can do online tasks for us on our behalf without us having to lift a finger. It's all automatic. So whatever you think of AI, just remember that Gen AI will be transformative. We will be talking about it over the next few years. The travel industry certainly cannot ignore it. But I think it's also important to remember that we do tend to overestimate the effect of any new technology in the short run. And we tend to underestimate its effect in the long run. So there is something for the travel industry to think about. Thank you.